If you have varicose veins, you need to know that it can be more than a cosmetic issue. They can be a sign of something more serious. Well, Dr. Jamal Wasney from the United Vein Centers is back to explain. So good to see you again. Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's talk about this, because I think oftentimes we do, when you think of varicose veins, you assume cosmetic, and we don't like the way they look. Talk about, though, what the underlying issue is and why it is a medical issue that you need to be concerned about.
The underlying issue is a medical problem. Usually what happens is that the vessels in the legs become dilated. And when they become dilated, they hold blood. They'll hold blood, your legs will start to swell when you stand. The swelling may cause some ache from the stretch. And at night, it can lead to restless legs or leg cramps from the blood sitting in the legs. Now, over time, the body tries to adapt and shift the blood out of the legs. So what ends up happening is you start to grow these little veins on the surface of your legs. This is almost a side effect of the vein disease. And that is why it's sometimes perceived as cosmetic.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. A lot of those symptoms you were talking about, I remember when I was pregnant, and I can't imagine people living with these. You know, thankfully my symptoms went away after that. But talk about if it is left untreated, and again, people living with this day to day, why is that a problem? What happens?
If left untreated, basically what's happening is we're allowing the blood to sit in the legs.
Okay.
So the circulation is poor. And if blood sits in the legs, it can coagulate or clot, lead to a blood clot in your legs. Now, many of us have heard of blood clots in the legs, and they're very dangerous. In addition to dangerous blood clots, leaving it untreated could mean that the pressure from the blood can lead to overlying ulcers in your legs.
Which I had not heard of.
Yes, definitely. They're actually called venous stasis ulcers.
Wow. Okay. Where are those located? I mean,
they're usually below the knee, between the ankle and the knee on the leg.
Wow. This is interesting too. Let's talk about insurance for a moment, because I think a lot of people may assume that this is not covered by insurance, because again, I think people assume it's just cosmetic.
Correct.
But because it is such a big medical issue, I'd imagine you do get help with getting it covered by health insurance.
Now, correct. Now, the patients we treat are treated by medical doctors, and health insurance is accepted, whether it's Medicare, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Assuming these are patients that have vein disease that's leading to pain, aching, swelling, maybe ulcers, blood clots, any of these things, it's covered because the doctor has to fix the underlying problem. Now, if you don't have any of these problems and you merely have some spider veins but no pain, aching, or swelling, no leg cramps at night, then of course there's no underlying problem to fix and insurance would not come into play.
Before we let you go today, talk about the genetic issue with this too, because you do hear that this is sometimes hereditary. Is that true?
Yes. 90% of the patients we treat can trace back a parent or a grandparent, an aunt or an uncle that had vein disease also.
Is there anything preventative that you can do to?
Well, just because you may have vein disease in your genetics does not mean it'll come out. Things like pregnancy, weight gain, staining for a long time can all make it come to the surface.
All right, very interesting. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. I love that you and your team, you like to offer these free consults for, again, if this is something that you've been dealing with, this is the time now to come in and see you and see if, you know, again, maybe health insurance can even cover this and make you feel better again.
Correct.
There is the number to call, the website to check out as well, and we look forward to seeing you again soon, Doctor. We appreciate it.
Thank you.